Commission and Sachar Committee Commission was well known. And even now, there is 15-point program for minorities by Prime Minister Modi. It is quite interesting that how many of us know this program. And it really is a very nice program if we could avail the benefits of it. For example, equitable availability for Muslim minorities, improving access to school education, some of them, greater resources for teaching Urdu, modernizing madrasas, and quite interesting is scholarship for meritorious students from minority community, improving education infrastructure through Maulana Azad Education Foundation, upgrade of skill through technical training, a lot of things, there are 15, I was impressed. So the purpose of AMP is on the same line. So last time I was talking about STEM, why United States is putting a lot of force behind STEM, because the future is in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So as the growth of the occupations in STEM is increasing, it has doubled than non-STEM occupations. So it is at 17% and non-STEM is 9.8%. So not only that, but STEM degrees are also important in non-STEM careers. So non-STEM careers are looking for STEM degrees too. So in that 9.8%, quite a big chunk is of for STEM too. So with let me close this. Okay. So STEM workers play a key role in US economy, and not only in US economy, in every nation's economy. And this should be a guide for all the other countries, what America is doing. It's not a secret thing. It's not a, like a confidential kind of thing. It is known. You Google it, you will come. All these facts and numbers. Okay. So, all right. The next, what is the goal? Mr. Obama in 2010 has started, and to tell you honestly, Mr. Barack Obama, one of the, well-educated, very intelligent president United States had. And imagine, he started the STEM. So that itself is a big achievement in his, term. So basically, the goal of the STEM is within a decade, when a kid comes to the first grade and comes to the high, finishes of the high school, we should have moved at the global level from middle. I showed you, a PISA score. We are falling in the middle to the first level. So that is only possible when we have these STEM subjects, encouraged among students and teachers. So the plan, according to his plan, he had 4 areas to act: K-12 instructions or education, undergraduate education, and graduate fellowship. So these 3 areas are very important, but not only he limited to the schools and colleges, but he said, we have to do this outside, we have to take STEM outside the classrooms too. How do you do that? Well, I will show you here. He started White House Science Fair. Nobody had even thought before. So, STEM was rocking in White House. Look at this. White House Science Fair celebrates student achievement. What do we do in India? We do exhibitions. exhibits, model making for already known facts. I'm trying for last 30 years in India to promote science fairs, which is nothing but scientific research. Like everybody might have heard about science and engineering, Intel Science and Engineering Fair International, which is science fair. And I want many Indians or Middle Easterns, they are coming. Gradually, they are getting awareness, but they are not that much. That's the problem. They are not, the countries are not giving so much importance to the STEM subjects. So it is very important. So he kind of started this. And look, these are the bright faces, bright intellectuals. Her name is Anvita Gupta. She won third prize in ISEF, Intel Engineering and Science Fair. And she also participated in White House Science Fair. And she looks like Indian, but she's not from India. She's born American. And she studied through here, went through the education in America. And there are many of them. And amazing. I always say that why India is not getting Nobel Prize after, 1930. That's the last Sir C.V. Raman got the Nobel Prize. Because we are not paying attention towards the research. We are not paying attention to STEM. We are learning. We are kind of just, what I should say, we have engineering colleges, we have medical colleges, we have different disciplines of science, but we are not paying attention towards research. And these kids, they are learning research since 4th grade. And you know what she did? Amazing. Now this is COVID time, COVID-19, isn't it? So everybody is after COVID-19 to find some kind of a medication, drugs or vaccination. And she wanted to she utilized artificial intelligence to accentuate the process of finding some drugs, anti-COVID-19 drugs. And again, some cancer drugs, tuberculosis, Ebola, and all those things. And she is also a promoter of STEM in women. So that's great. I told you, this is a 4th grade science textbook. The first lesson, what does it say? How scientists work, planning and investigation. You know, I mentioned to you that it is very unfortunate to tell our Muslim countries and Muslims that the scientific method was invented by Al-Hazm. That is a Latinized version of Al-Haytham. And he was the father of optics. Who says? Who celebrates him? Europeans. Yeah. And British Encyclopedia writes that if scientific, he was the first scientist. And if the scientific method was not invented, we wouldn't have seen this modern world of science. So what are those steps? He described those steps. Observe. After observation, ask a question and form a hypothesis. Plan an experiment, conduct the experiment, and then come to a conclusion. And it may match with your hypothesis or it may not match with your hypothesis, what you have, that educational guess or hypothesis was. But in either case, it is excellent, because you came to know what is the truth, what is, and another thing, science is reproducible. And you experiment this and come to the same conclusion 3-4 times. If that is performed, that experiment is performed in India, it should be, if it is performed in America, it should give the same results. Jagdish Chandra Bose, he said that plant has life. Amazing. We have good genes. Everybody, Middle Eastern genes, European genes, there's nothing wrong with the genes. There is not proper environment. We have to understand what makes your country progress, what makes the economy flourish in your country. That's what it is. And I'm as she has already mentioned, that I'm chairman of Scientific Review Committee of Flint Area Science Fair. If you Google it, Flint Area Science Fair, you will see our website. And I'm also co-director for this science fair. And this is a regional science fair comprising of 11 counties, that is districts, what you in India, counties are like districts and other countries. And then we send the winners of a regional science fair to national science fair, Intel Science and Engineering Fair. So they win there. Look at this. This is a high school kid project using polymer hydrogels for drug delivery. And look at the data. What do you do in science exhibition in India? Make a model of solar system, make a model of turbine, make a model of a dam. What dam it is going to do? That's the problem. I'm trying this to force for 30 years. And now we do have Telangana Science Fair Education. And another thing I want to tell you, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana was the first one who listened to me, the SCRT, and they introduced in biology 8th grade book, how scientists work, the scientific method. Ask our kids, what are variables? They can't tell. What are variables in an experiment? This is the problem. Okay, well, mutagenic effect of tobacco on microorganisms. We know that it causes cancer in our body, but this kid, he said that the commensal organism in our mouth or nasopharyngeal region, they are harmless, right? And they live there with some good reason, but they can mutate and become a pathogenic. A person may have a pneumonia because of mutation of these bacteria, and he got from Indiana University scholarship. And you will be happy to know that this is my son. And now he is a director of physician services in Port Huron Hospital. So, look at this girl. She's born to an Indian family. What she did, she is in junior division. The effect of surface chemistry on pond water biofilm growth. Look at this, all the data in the background. She logged in, this is logbook. She put down every time she did experiment, she put down in that logbook. It is very important for scientists to have a logbook. And they are trained right from elementary school. Elementary division is fourth grade and 5th grade. And junior division is 6th to 8th grade. High school or senior division is from 9th to 12th grade. Participants in ISEF, International Science Fair, every 6th kid has patent. Every 6th student, high school student, senior division student has a patent of his invention or discovery or whatever. So that is important. Look at this. This is our Flint region. These are all finalists from junior to senior division. So this is Flint, where I live and I work here in the hospital. So, and not only, Obama, Mr. Donald Trump, which every Indian loves Donald Trump. And what does he say? We will continue efforts to provide our students with access to high quality education in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics so that they are better equipped to innovate and compete in today's economy. Well, he also says, we stand at the birth of a new millennium, ready to unlock the mysteries of space, to free the earth from the miseries of disease, and to harness the energies, industries, and technology of tomorrow. The purpose of STEM curriculum, our mission should be help a student to prepare for the 21st century, whether from India, Middle East, African countries, anywhere. We have to work together. We are living in a global time. Goal should be research, design, build, test, and improve. Objective, enable them with power of problem solving. This is the problem. You know, when I closely work with GM engineers, because I'm in science fair, so there are a lot of judges who come from different colleges and universities this is a volunteer organization. They come and do the judging for our students. And many of them, GM workers, they say, you know, the problem with our, because they know me as an Indian, problem with our Indian engineers, they do not have, you know, ability of new problem solving. Whatever there is old thing, yes, they will come and do it. You know, they outsource work there in India, and those engineers are not creative. They don't come up with new ideas because we are not taught problem solving. We are not critical thinkers. We take is equal to mc square as that's the final thing. We don't look at that as in a critical way. Is there anything G in it? We don't. So that is the problem. We have to fix. The objective should be, we should be problem solver and critical thinkers. And on the other hand, creativity also should be promoted. And among all, there should be a teamwork. Because now with the globalization of the knowledge, there is always teamwork. An engineer in United States is working with the engineer in Italy, Germany, US. We are all have teams. You know, Microsoft is in India too. So they are working as a team. So another objective is a STEM-based curriculum has real life situation. Our students should be familiar with our real life situations, the real life problems, and how to fix it and how to solve it. Okay. So with this initiation of Mr. Obama, quickly they went and looked at the curriculum, American curriculum, and they found out there are many deficiencies in the curriculum. In India, I'm just giving an example of India. It may be other third world countries also the same situation, or developing countries. They found out, you know, we have, since independence of India, we have the same curriculum. Medical college has the same curriculum. Engineering college has the same, only the gadgets have changed. Calculators have come in engineering college instead of slide rule, and same dissectors, you know, dissection. Well, same manuals of the dissection, same, you know, the textbooks of medicine, a little bit improved in, you know, but the same thing. No research is done in engineering college. Engineering means invention, and no inventions have come. It's so devastating. So we don't do research in medical colleges. They think that scientists are different. Look at this NGSS. It is three-dimensional. Core ideas, cross-cutting, practices. What is core idea? Core idea is your curriculum. And we have curriculum in India, but we do not have a part called practices. We do not have a part called cross-cutting. So a lot of scientists, educationists, and Nobel laureates got together and found out how to improve this curriculum, science curriculum, STEM curriculum. And they came up with next generation science standard, thinking that when a child is born, he's a scientist, investigator. How curious a child is, you know, every time find something, try to explore it. Very curious. And that curiosity is suppressed as these kids start their education in the schools and colleges. They are being oppressed. They are not anymore free thinkers, free investigators. They are just blindfolded and follow and memorize whatever is in the textbooks. They read science. Can you believe that? Science is to do. Well, science and engineering requires knowledge and practice. What is practice? You have to practice. When you are an engineer, you should practice, isn't it? So what we do? Oh, well, we build a dam. We help in already known how to make engines. So little, put another name and give, make in India type of water pump. That's all. What is innovation? Are we thinking in a different way? Okay. So with all that, what is next generation? I showed you that 3 dimensions: practices, blue; core ideas, that's the core curriculum; cross-cutting, interdisciplinary. Okay. So now, for example, grade 1 science standard. And I have whole maybe 2-3 sessions on NGSS, next generation science standards. But I will give you just a glimpse of what NGSS is. For example, grade 1 science standard 1 is grade 1, physical science, 4th unit, 2nd lesson, illumination and darkness. The kids start with practice, not with the core, core subject or the curriculum. How we do? On the board, pendulum, definition of the pendulum. And then maybe you will give, if it is advanced class, you will give the some formula. No. If you are following NGSS or hands-on inquiry-based methodology, you will be starting with practice, experimentation. This is how students should learn. Not theory first, practical later. Even in colleges, let them experiment and come to know. And that way, it will be retained and you will become more creative. Our students will become more creative. This is what students do. Practice, that's what. And what is the practice in science? Scientific method, engineering method. What is the difference? I gave you the steps of scientific method. The only thing which differs in that, it is start with problem. I cannot cross the river. I have to build something. And you are looking for solution. What you do? You build a prototype of the bridge. Well, last time we put a bridge there and the columns with the current, heavy currents of this river, well, taken away and entire bridge fallen. Now the engineer have another problem. What we should do? And then, you know what they did? Hanging bridge, no columns. Isn't it beautiful? Yes. So that practice, in practice, both scientific method and engineering method comes. Okay. And then is the core ideas, what you want them to learn. Well, you want, for example, in this light, actually, basically, this is illumination talking about light, waves. Actually, it comes in category of electromagnetic waves and light waves and sound waves. There are 3, and that's all. Waves 3. So in that, the light waves, then the students have to know in the first grade that, if there is no light or there is a shadow, it will be dark. So they will see a small object and shadow. What happens if the light moves closer to the object? Will the shadow become darker? Yes. Let them think, let them be critical, let them be creative. So this is how we should teach in our classrooms. Well, we have a big industry school system. Make money, put as many kids as you want in the classroom, 40, and on the name of the school will be international school. Or on the Saint Convent, we will make Saint Joseph School. Will that going to change the quality? No. Same stuff. Exhibition. They change the names. Science fair now. When you go there, there is exhibition. That's interesting. Cause and effect and cross-cutting. Cross-cutting means one discipline overlaps with the other discipline. When there is photosynthesis, there is chemistry involved. When you are thinking, I'm thinking, there is a biochemistry in my neurons and my receptors. There are receptors in the brain and synapses. There is biochemistry going on. When I'm moving my hand, there is physics, the movements, the joints, and all those. The engineering, bioengineering, the cardiac walls, how they work. They look at it and try to make the prosthesis of the joints. All those things, overlapping. Let them be more creative and think out of the box. We have different subjects isolated. So this is the school curriculum I'm talking about in grade 1. From kindergarten, engineering is added to NGSS. Isn't it interesting? So see, again, this is the recent, I'm a member of National Science Teacher Association, so I get this. So look at this, turning STEM into STEAM. This was just March 2020. What is a STEAM? You know what they did? They added A. They realized that arts is also important. So, and in STEM, though it is hands-on project requiring critical thinking, collaboration, communication skills, and all those things, but the arts is a good, adjunct subject to this STEM. And they call this, arts means it's just not painting. Yes, that is included too. Drawing, that's what we think in India. It is music is an art. Sports is an art. You have to learn the science in that art. So like a gymnastic, when do a flip on a bar, should know the science, how much force that gymnastic has to put to flip on a bar and should land exactly straight. That's a science. Music. My God, I love music. I love poetry. Poetry is an art. I learned this poetry. I'm an Urdu poet. And I started from 8th grade. At the end of this, I will show you how in 8th grade, I made a poem in science. So this is, and look at this. And another thing we found out, those students who play piano, their academic achievements are better. And kids are not interested in science because there is no hands-on activity. Curiosity is not involved like these kids are doing. They love this because there is some activity, they are involved in it, they want to improve their music. And same should be the science. And in fact, both are correlated. So they added arts. I'm going to go because this is the final session, so I have to cover a lot more. So now they went to STEAM. Look at this. They formed a STEAM club. That means all the students, come together in a school, and there are dramas, there are competition, drawing competitions, and there is science competition and sports competition. Look at this, sport too. This is a tug of war, isn't it? And and a science kid will look at this and say, my God, this kid is applying the force and inclined in the opposite direction. They have the shoes that has a grip. And sometimes the last person and these people dig a little bit in the ground and make it as an anchor and to put the heel there and pull it so that they are not dragged down. All the science, fun, sports, everything. Okay. And now in India, when I say, oh, no, sir, I'm a language teacher. I'm not interested in science. Oh, no, I'm social study teacher. Now it is social science. Education itself is science of education. Economics, science of economics. There is science in it. So what we do is in India, in America, we have RET. What is RET? Research experience for teachers. So what they do, actually, we want to rejuvenate, replenish, and re-energize the teachers with STEM. And they could go, there are sessions or there are hands-on or workshops conducted by National Science Foundation in America, which is the main office is in Virginia, and DOE, different departments, energy department also conducts this kind of thing. So for example, I will give you an example. There are a lot of quotation I can give you, but I think I have to move on faster. I was thinking something. That this is the one, for example, COVID-19, because this is the thing everybody wants to listen. Now we know that the diagnostic test in COVID-19 is only PCR test. The antibody test is not a diagnostic test, period. And India, some of the clinics and some of the hospitals are cheating. They are doing for $300 antibody test, which is not diagnostic test. It may be positive after 2 weeks of having the infection. Then IgM and IgG will shoot up. And then you can say it is positive. By then, either the patient has died or has recovered. What is the use? Why you want to do that? Unless you want to test the vaccine which you are producing is good, and or you want to test that, I got infection and now I'm recovered. Was it COVID-19? Yeah, you do antibody test. But it's not going to help in treatment and diagnosis. So if the teachers go to these sessions and learn PCR technique, they do a project and look at this. Their knowledge has increased tremendously, significantly, pre and post test. They evaluated this. So this kind of a program is for students also. And so basically, this is actually, this is a picture of Virginia, where the main office of National Science Foundation is there. And they are conducting from June 2nd to July 28th for a student, these workshops, RETs, and June 16 to July 28 for teachers. And they actually perform tests. They go and experiment. Look at this. This is a watershed area in a park, and they are testing the water. These are all teachers. I was so sad when for last 30 years, I'm going to colleges, universities, and everywhere. And many colleges which have the gadget, liquid chromatography, gas chromatography, machines are plastic covered. I said, how many time you use these machines to do research? They said, no, sir, if we do it, they get ruined and, something goes wrong and we cannot fix it. It's very expensive. Why did you keep that? You have an electron microscope to show. Not even pH meter was used in college. I was surprised. They don't have even working pH meter. Here, high school kids use these gadgets like play toys. It's very sad. So STEAM, they have STEAM clubs. So this is like out of the school kind of a club, after school activities, and see how they draw these pictures, design, and try to make some. So I'm going to give you an example. I don't know how much time I have. Can you tell me? Shansha?
Yes, sir. You still have 10 minutes to go. Do you want to take some more time?
Yes.
All right, no problem. We can stretch it to 15 minutes.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, thank you.
This is a project-based learning, PBL. I always tell about that. And wings of life. See, these are the wings. Why we are calling wings of the life? This was a photographer who, if you Google it, wings of life, you will come up with this, a short 4-minute video. And look at the beauty of, he is a photographer, he is an artist, but he photographed so nicely and conveyed a message to everybody, including students. You watch that. And in that, this is for this activity is for grade 6 to 8. And this is activity in STEAM club. And it requires 10 hours, 2 hours per week for 5 weeks. Okay. So the project, it focuses on the functions of flowering plants. And we are using in this, when we teach students, we use different methods. And this is called 5E method. First, we engage the student and then let them explore. And then they will explain and elaborate, and we will assist them. And at the end is the assessment or evaluation. We are not going to go to evaluation, but we will, this we kind of modify. The beauty of pollination. Well, after seeing the movie, because that is the engagement, you put a movie, everybody will, oh, yes, let's look at it. And when they watched this 4-minute movie, then the students will discuss among themselves, oh, what was that? How these flowers, there were flowers and, different type of insects were coming and all that. They will discuss among themselves. And they will come to know this, they are pollinators. And they will come to know that the insects and birds and mammals are also pollinators. And mechanism of, they will come to know the mechanism of pollination. They will tell themselves, what is that these insects and birds are doing. Okay, wings of life. This is a very sad thing. Again, last month's journals, I received this, Science, Insect Decline, and National Geography. You will miss them when they are gone. Can we survive without them? Can we survive? Can we have enough food? Because if you look at the cycle of food, we depend, some animals depends on vegetables, some animals are carnivorous, and this cycle goes on. But in between, these are the pollinators which are doing a great job. So if they vanish, and it's not far away, every day we are, many of species are becoming extinct, and the fast, rapidly extinct are these insects. There won't be life without them. So the students will come to know that, and they will, now is the time to explore. So what we do is, in exploration, the teachers will assist. We'll try to give a flower which has both sexes, like, female sex and male sex in the flower, and ask them to take pictures, draw diagrams, and we take lilies lily is a Nargis Kapoor. And then, these lilies are good because the female and male part are very obvious. They can see and draw. And so give them pencil colors and all those things and plastic knife to cut if they want to dissect. Don't give you the live knife, the steel knife. They will cut their fingers. So these are the lilies I have in my garden here. This is the most beautiful Asian lily here. Look at that beautiful, and it has a very nice aroma. A very and you could see there is female part and male parts. Okay, let them draw a picture. Let them cut and find out what is there in this bulb. And they may ask the question, sir, what is this? Ma'am, what is this? What is that? Tell them. This is the way they will never forget. Don't rote memorize them. Rote learning is the best thing what we do. And you know what? Schools spend money on getting somebody who can make memory lasting. And they pay lakhs of dollars. Dr. Azhar, if he comes and wants to talk about quality of education, nobody wants to listen. And this guy who comes and say, oh, how to memorize 20 digits number, and he will, if you ask the same question to next time, he won't be able to memorize that number. So, but anyhow, then let them explain. And you give the answer and discuss their ideas. And they will ask, what is that here? You will say, ovules. Oh, what are the ovules? And then you can tell, ovules are the one which become seeds in later. Now he knows. This is hands-on. Do we teach like that? No. We just finish it up as much as the curriculum syllabus, syllabus they say. There is somebody, behind these kids, and poor kids are suffering with all mental disability. Look at these ovules. Ask them, this is, we call out okra and you call lady's finger or bhendi or whatever. Bhendi ka salan, every time they cut. Oh my God, then this is a kitchen science. We use sodium chloride. Chemistry, physics, we need heat. I ask simple questions to the kids. What happens when you put sugar on a hot pan? Some say, go and test. What happens? The first thing, it melts and you could see the water vapors coming out. And then it becomes brown and black. What is this? Sugar is a hydrocarbon. Hydrogen combined with oxygen and evaporated as water. And what is the residue here is a carbon. And this is the chemistry of cooking. And look at this beauty, architecture. These are ovules turned into, and have you ever seen this is like a pentagon? Bhendi is pentagon. Can you find a hexagon bhendi? Let them think about it. And this is orange. Look at this, how it is divided. How beautiful it is. Science is beauty. So this is what we have to do. And then elaborate. Now in elaboration, the kids have to have field trip, go and apply the knowledge. Oh, let's go to the University Botanical Garden, or Lal Bagh is a botanical garden in Bangalore, or maybe your school garden. Unfortunately, many schools just want to build and build. There is no playground, there is no school garden where the kids can actually experiment and do some planting. These kids are punished. They are imprisoned in the classrooms, imprisoned in homes. They have no activity except memorizing. I was hearing a kid 12 o'clock in the night memorizing the question answer, social study question answer. Why? I asked him, why are you memorizing? Can you write? Of course, he was memorizing in English. That's another problem. Foreign language, if you learn in foreign language, you have to memorize. And he said that if I write in my own words, my teacher won't give me full mark. That's the thing which is happening in India. So let's, and NGSS, look, NGSS in 6 to 8 grade, right? In first grade, they have to study a little part, little by little, and then increase the knowledge, okay? They can say plant has roots, stems, flower, leaves, fruits. That's it, K to 2. And then you expand a little bit. And they survive because they keep their generation by reproducing. And then comes, there is sexual part, asexual part, and all those. And in 9 to 12, you are going at the molecular level, DNA. This should be the transition between the grades, a smooth transition. No. What we do, we dump this subject into 6 to 8 grade, thinking that students will learn, oh, our curriculum is the best in the world. What? If the students are not understanding, is that going to be best? Now, teach less. This is the goal. Teach less, but more in depth. Okay, so then what next? Then kids will say, teacher, this flower has, you said, well, I could see that too. It's a male part and female part. And you describe, is there any flower which has a separate female flower and a male flower? There you go. This is the way you should teach. You said pumpkin, with long gourd and male flower and female. How do you differentiate? There is that female part ovary here. And if you cut it, there are ovules in that. If this flower is not fertilized, this will shrivel, dry off, and die. Very often I do artificial pollination in my backyard, my kitchen garden. I take a painting brush, move that brush in here, get some pollen attached to the brush, and then move in this flower. I do that. It's amazing, my kids, my grandkids. What are you doing that? Nana, what are you doing? I said, oh, this is what I'm doing. See, if I don't do it, you don't have a pumpkin. So then the students will come up with more and more questions. What is that which insects get attracted to the flower? Do an experiment. Have a nice, beautiful artificial flower and a natural flower. See which flower attracts the more insects. Calculate the number of insects coming to those flowers. Are there only one type of insects coming to one flower? Is there a hummingbird which comes to only one flower? Is that honeybee comes to only one type of flower? Is the butterfly coming to only one type of flower? All those things. What is the effect of insecticide on these insects? Are we killing those insects who are pollinator, who have the wings of life, are not coming to those flowers? That is important. So at the end, this is the thing, this is ongoing science fair projects. Cover with the plastic and, see when it is a bird, cover it with the transparent plastic and do not let it pollinate by insects and see what happens, whether there will be fruit or no fruit. And when you take it off, what happens? Look at it, which one, or we do artificial pollination and cover it with the plastic and see. These are all projects you could do in your backyard, in your school garden, in home, you can do and learn. So now let's go to stream. This is the final thing I'm going to conclude after this. I'm happy that a lot of people are still holding, I'm holding those people in my session. I'm sure they are interested. So stream, what is R stand for? R is reading and writing. They realize that arts is okay, but there is something which is missing in STEM. A scientist, an engineer, a technologist should also, a mathematician should also have ability to communicate. How do you communicate? When I'm saying communication, it's not just verbal communication. Writing, reading, addressing, making your point, the force of language, that is important. And a good scientist is a good writer. And, when I look back my education, I learned a lot. I became a writer. I wrote short stories which were published. I wrote poems, and even though I was very much interested in science. So a stream it builds a holistic educational package. In India, holistic education. Everybody, holistic. Do they understand what is holistic? We don't. We are, copycats. Oh, there is something. Okay. No child left behind, NCLB. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. Just copy and translate into Hindi. That's it. Is it helping us? The outcome is there. Okay. Here is Priya Venkateshan. She is again American born. And look at what she did. Like my son, I was mentioning about my son who did this project. His major in undergraduate was history, and minor was chemistry. Well, and look what he did. And one of my cousin, he did engineering and went to medical school. There are so many things you can do in combination. It's just not engineering and science, engineering and medicine. That's what we do in India. No. If you don't get admission in medicine, try for engineering. That's the thing. We have to understand what subject the student loves, and particularly. So she says, Priya says, she's from New Hampshire, and in USA. She did molecular biology research, and she found out that my knowledge parallels between literature and science. I have to be a good writer when I'm, another thing I want to tell you, that when Indian medical graduates come, we have residency program in our hospital. So they seek for residency. When I go over their resume, there is nothing about research, no publication. And okay, anyhow, I took some of them. And then when I asked them to write an article on that, the study, they can't even write a proper sentence. No punctuation, forget about it. Some of those sentences doesn't make sense. This is the problem, because they have not learned. They do not have control over the language. Even though they learned in English medium, which is a foreign language to them, like, if you open up a school here in America with the Tamil as mother tongue, Tamil schools, you can imagine how our English, native English students will perform. Same thing is happening. That's what I say. And new policy of education in India, the draft which has come, it's a very good one. It gives importance to the mother tongue and education, basic foundational education. So science and technology, engineering is a concept. It's not a language. A Japanese, Chinese can do the same thing as a Tamilian or Telugu medium or Urdu medium person can do it. Okay. Nobel laureates. He's a Nobel laureate, and he says language, writing skills were just as important for the development of my scientific career as were science and math. Debating competition, writing style helped me to write better papers. That's what it is. So you should be able to love, cherish writing and communicating. This is the poem I wrote when I was in 8th grade. It's a science poem. I studied it in Urdu medium. You could do it in Telugu medium or any medium, Hindi medium. So I wrote, एक हिस्सा ऑक्सीजन, दो हिस्से हाइड्रोजन, मिलके बरसे छन छनाछन, छन छनाछन, छन छनाछन. It rhymed at that time. I didn't know what I'm writing. I didn't know about this rhythm. एक हिस्सा ऑक्सीजन, दो हिस्से हाइड्रोजन, मिलके बरसे छन छना छन छन छना छन छन. When I came to America, I learned Faneruz, how to write poetry. It has a rhythm. This is Bahr Ramal, it is called. And all the poets who are writing in like Kaifi Azmi and Javed Akhtar, they know this art of writing poetry. And it has its own formula. And this one is failatun faila, failatun failatun. Same thing. Even the drums have the rhythm. Tak dina din, tak dina. This is failatun. That's why it has to match that. So, this is astronaut. And again, she's telling that how important is the language, art. And since our association, AMP, is involved in Australia, even Australia realized that how important is STEM. Look at that. Chief scientist, there they call chief scientist, stated in 2014, related with the science and technology. So he says that STEM is Australia's future. And he realized just 8 of 6,492 students surveyed expressed a desire to work in STEM-related fields when they finish the school. Look at this. Doing PhD in Ghalib, कब तक मुर्दे उखाड़ते रहेंगे हम लोग in Urdu, PhD. What? And many of our AMP members are in United States, in Australia, and all throughout the world. And would they have come to these countries with the PhD in Urdu, Telugu, Kannada? No. This is what it is. And even Australian Industry Group reports in 2015 that the STEM-related courses completion have decreased over the past 10 years, 22% to just 16%. They are worried. They are future planners. We are not. We are still in Make in India. We should be made in India. Can you believe this? Committee for Economic Development of Australia, 40% of Australia's workforce will be replaced by automation within next 10 to 20 years. How we are going to handle the situation? Do we have such capability? And you can see this, again, the same Australian chief scientist is saying, changing 1% of workforce into STEM roles would add $57.4 billion to Australian gross domestic products, GDP. Just 1% adding will add $57.4 billion. Australia could drop out of top 20 economics if we do not do this by 2050. What is India's plan? What is Qatar plan? What is Saudi plan? What is Egypt plan? South Africa's plan? Think about it. I think I said enough. So let the students be in total control rather than teaching them, teacher-based learning. Let the students do their own hands-on inquiry-based learning and learn. That's the best way. And don't make these kids memorizers and rote learners. And teachers be the assistant. Thank you very much. I really appreciate, and I will welcome any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kazi Azhar Saab, for today's session. It was extremely, extremely wonderful. So we will be taking questions now onwards. The first question is, I'm a recent engineering graduate working as an electrical engineer. Till the end of my college, I studied only engineering related subject in my field. Then how should I follow STEAM? Please suggest, sir.
Okay, so this person is electrical engineer,
Yes.
and he's working where?
He's still studying. He's in the final year of his college.
Okay, good. Okay, so one thing I would advise him: do not just restrict yourself to electrical engineering. This is one of the biggest problem we face in India. So civil engineers mean just civil, but there should be a lot of over. When you select this, unfortunately in India, an engineer cannot take a medical subject. Well, like here, when I mentioned to you about my cousin who was engineer, he was also taking pre-medical subjects too while he was taking the subjects of engineering, mechanical engineering. So if there is possibility with that, your opportunities will grow. You can join, electrical engineering is have become part of mechanical engineering. Now the cars, when you make, run by electricity too. So it's just not mechanical engineer. So try to take different subjects and have a good hold on that. At least, and if you want to become in future a biomedical engineer, you should take some biology subjects too. So that's my advice to him.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. There is the next question, which says, sir, we have to complete the syllabus in the given time. So it's not possible for the teachers to teach the way you are showing. So in that case, how should we teach our students? Please guide.
Excellent. This is the problem which I come across. In the beginning, see, NGSS cannot be implemented in India right now. Why? Because your standards, the curriculum standards are different. You are required to take this, and the type of questions asked are different. I know you have to completely change the system. The new draft, education policy draft, which will be, I don't know when that will be implemented, a 2019 draft, that has most of the stuff which I mentioned. And they are prioritizing hands-on activities and all those things. But it takes billions of dollars. You may not have to buy their file. You may not have to buy the, bullet train if you want to give importance. I saw my slide have switched. Am I still online?
Yes, sir, you are here.
Okay, good. So, you're right. So somehow we have teachers. I will give you an advice what to do. You have teachers associations. Am I right? Every state has a National Teachers Association of India, even Urdu Teacher Association, Telugu Teachers, all the association should, for how we do, if TADA is not given, how we agitate, how we protest. Oh, increments stopped. How many teachers will go on road? Did we do for our students? For the betterment of our students? When you were students, you suffered, and now, why don't you think about it? Oh, Dr. Azhar's lecture was amazing. He talked about this. Go and ask the government. And our education minister doesn't know anything about education. never had a degree in education. Our Secretary of Education, he is just a what is that? UPSC passed administrative service graduate, passed the exam, and he is now Secretary of Education. What does he know about this? So unless we bring the change in the curriculum, we cannot progress. And this should be collective effort. We need the government who understand education as the priority. I think I have spoken enough.
All right. So can we take one last question and we are done for the session then?
Okay.
What we will do, we will still be having some open question, but I will compile all the unanswered questions, which I will provide it to you. And whenever you get time, you can answer them. And we can always send these questions, answered questions, to the participants, inshallah.
Sure.
Okay.
Inshallah.
So the last question for today is...
Sure.
All right. So what should we do if the circumstances are not favorable for such a teaching? Mr.
Okay.
Irshad Sheikh.
Thank you, Mr. Ishaq said. One thing we can do is try to adopt as much as possible hands-on activities. Very important. Like when you are doing this pollination kind of a thing, do the, out of the, you can say that, out of the classroom activity kind of a thing. Because in the classroom, you have to finish up your curriculum, isn't it? So form a stream club, and through that club, you can do this. And in fact, this will also help the academics of those students, because pollination is there in their syllabus. So same thing with the pendulum, for example. Let them take the string, coins, clips, and make a pendulum. And this could be indoor activity too in the classroom. And actually here, this is three units there are. In each unit, there are 3 lessons. So in India, just 1 lesson, that's it. No, they do by themselves and then realize that the oscillation time depends on the length of the pendulum, the string length. They come and they draw the graph. And they also predict if this will have this much long string, the time will be this much oscillation. So you can do it. So, but it may not, completely correlate with your, curriculum guidelines, but this will give more insight to the students. I think I hope I satisfied your question's answer. So
surely, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. It was extremely our pleasure to have you as our speaker, Dr. Qazi Azhar Saab. It was a very wonderful and insightful lecture of yours. So it is extremely important to understand the depth and importance of this education system. And as a parent, an educator, or an individual, we must know the critical importance of STEM, STEAM, and STREAM. And in today's fast changing world, we all need to be prepared for the 21st century's a high-tech world and be able to compete in our career paths. I'm sure all of us who attended today's insightful session will implement the knowledge we took from Dr. Azhar Saab's session, inshallah. AMP organizes these sessions by highly qualified professionals and experts in their respected fields to share their learning and viewpoints to guide everyone with their own life experiences and knowledge. We request you to keep coming for these sessions. You can also spread the word about us and our sessions in your network. Keep yourself updated through our website, www.ampindia.org/pastwebtalks. Thank you. I'm Homera Kabir. I was your host today. I will be signing off now today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.